Hey everyone, welcome to the Litmus community meeting. My name is Nilanjan. So, this meeting is on the third Wednesday of each month, and we go through all the community updates in this meeting. So, thank you everyone for joining in, and let's go through the agenda. We have a short agenda today. We'll be just going through the 3.20 release notes. So Litmus had a release after a while now. It's a 3.20 release. We bring in a slew of new features as well as issues from the communities that we have been working upon. So we'll just go through the issues and then, yeah, we'll have an open floor for discussion. But before we go there, I see Pritesh is joining into our community call for the first time. So Pritesh, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone. So as Nilanjan mentioned, thanks for first of all, thanks Nilanjan for introducing me. And yeah, so I've joined recently Litmus as a community manager. So I'll be taking care of all the community work that will help us to lead and grow this Litmus community. And yep, excited to be part of this and looking forward to work with you all.
Awesome. Definitely looking forward to more awesome contributions from you, Pritesh. So he has actually already raised a PR as well to refactor our docs. So kudos to Pritesh for that. All right, sure. Thank you so much, Pritesh. So yeah, without any further ado, I'll just start with the 3.20 release notes. So 3.20 has been released after I think about 3 months. So a lot of new features has come in as part of that. Starting with some of the minor fixes that we have been working upon. So first is the CI/CD improvements. We have had like a few issues into our CI/CD pipelines, the push and the CI like build pipeline. So Vedant has been working on a few fix. He has enabled Dex server builds in the PR checks and push pipelines. So earlier we were manually building the Dex images and they were not getting released at a cadence. So this was, enabling them to become more stale. So this enhancement essentially addresses that by essentially building the Dex image as part of the push pipelines and the PR checks as well. So that with every like master and like release we are also building a new deck server build which the community can then use. So this will help with the updated security patches and any other feature enhancements that are being addressed in decks. Then next up, we also fixed a duplicate ID in the push workflows. So this was a small fix wherein we were using the buildx like enhance addition twice, like in the same pipeline we were adding the buildx twice, so we just removed that block. And lastly we also updated the push workflow configuration. So this is again to use the image artifactory like for the decks. We were like doing all these for decks only, so decks will the base image of the decks is right now being pulled in from a image artifactory. So that enhancement has been added. And also, Amadeus has been added to the list of Litmus contributors, which is great. Yeah. So Amadeus has been added to the list of LitmusChaos contributors, and it's a long time due. I think Calvin has been a very active proponent in the LitmusChaos community, and he has been using and helping to contribute into LitmusChaos for a long time. So it's really great to see Amadeus come along as a adopter. So yeah, we'll be hopefully be hearing more from Calvin in the upcoming meetings about their particular use case, how Amadeus is using Litmus Chaos for their chaos engineering journey, and how it is helping them in their cloud native resiliency adoption. So yeah, looking forward to that. Then comes a list of enhancements, all of which were taken up by me. So starting with multi-container support for pod stress faults. So the memory, IO, and CPU stress faults, all of them were earlier limited to targeting only one container per pod when we were injecting chaos. However, this changes now. So we will be able to inject individual containers, multiple containers as well within the same pod as part of the pod stress faults. And we can, of course, target all the containers present inside a pod as well. Then we have also introduced port filtering and IP host name like filtering as part of the network faults. So earlier, of course, if you're using the target IP input for the network faults to target the specific IPs, you had no way of controlling which ports and essentially which like applications are getting targeted as part of that IP. So now you can specifically target particular ports as part of a IP or a host name when you are using the network faults. So that's the enhancement. And we have also added a new fault actually. We have added the pod network rate limit fault. So network rate limit, as the name suggests, helps in the rate limiting of your network. So this validates the use cases where you have a limited network bandwidth and how your application behaves under the limited network bandwidth scenarios. So it uses essentially the bucket filtering algorithm implemented by the TC package again to implement the rate limiting. And yeah, do check it out. It's a good fault. It's a good use case when it comes to the network faults. Next up, we also introduced some common helper pod lifecycle management functions. So this is just a refactor. It's not a new feature, and it essentially reduces the amount of repetition of code that we have in our go runner code base to use common functions which eliminate a lot of redundant code that we have been adding at the experiment level layer. Then lastly, we also added retries for with timeouts for Litmus and Kts client operation in the Go runner. So earlier, much of these operations, the Litmus and Kts client operations that we are using within the Go runner, were being used without any kind of retries or timeouts. So in conditions where your performance is getting bottlenecked due to some reason, your KTS CLI or the KTS API server is maybe failing whenever you are making an API request. So this will help in mitigating that. We are essentially retrying multiple times whenever we are calling the Litmus or KTS client APIs, and therefore it will help in improving the resilience and configuring it to be more to be easier to be used with the timeouts with retries. Lastly, we also have unit test coverage PRs. So Prakhar has added some of the unit tests in our Go runner, spanning across some string utilities, retry logic, executils, and workloads packages. So thank you so much, Prakhar, for your contributions. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the Litmus 3.20 release notes. I do not have anything else for this meeting, so I'll like to open up the floor for any questions.
Yeah, I think this new fault network rate limit sounds interesting. I was looking for the documentation for it, but didn't find it. Is it that the documentation docs need to be updated or something?
Uh, that's curious. I can check on it. I remember adding the
Mm.
documentation for it as well. Uh, yeah, I'll check on
Yeah,
this and reach back to you, Beyond. Is that okay?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have added
And
the
then maybe, I
docs.
don't know,
Yeah.
maybe next, it would be interesting to see a demo of it, maybe, or
Yeah,
I don't
that
know,
that will be
next time
awesome.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that should be awesome. I can demo this fault. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let
Mm.
me do that for the next meeting. Yep,
Great.
great. Awesome. I think, yeah, do you have any more questions beyond?
No, nothing else.
Sure thing. Pritesh, any questions?
Oh, no, nothing from my side. Yeah.
Awesome. No issues. So yeah, that brings us, I think, to the end of this meeting. Thank you so much for joining in, folks. Hopefully, we'll meet again in the next month's community meeting. Meanwhile, feel free to also join the contributors and the maintainers meeting that will happen in its like last week of this month on Thursday. So yeah, looking forward. If you have any questions regarding any of the technical details, like when your PR will be merged or anything, any issue that you are facing, feel free to join the contributors and maintainers meeting where all of us gather to just discuss those issues. Cool.
Does that mean that the meeting will be tomorrow? At least that's when I have it in my calendar.
Yeah, that
Or is it
seems
going
to
to
be a
move?
little bit of an error. Yeah, I'll just fix that. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
think it's yeah, tomorrow. I'll just fix that. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Sure. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone, and I hope you have a good rest of the week. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.